Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anastasia, and can we just please give it a second to this amazing sunrise that I have behind me? Just wow. All you need is some 7 degrees when it's summer and you get this sunrise. But let's go back to the video. So today I wanted to share some updates on my document processing because, as I know, a lot of you are in the process or thinking about moving to Chile to get nationality, to get Chilean passport and live here permanently. Well, let me share how it has been going for me. So, as you might know, I live in Chile for over 6 years now, and the main question is, do I have a Chilean passport? Well, the answer is no, I do not. So after living in Chile for 6 years, I have 2 kids with Chilean citizenship. My husband is Chilean, and I still do not have a Chilean passport. How come? Right? That is like a logical question because 6 years is pretty long time. So let me share with you first of all, step by step. Well, I came here in 2019. And I came here with my tourist visa. So I had 3 months of tourist visa that I prolonged later for 3 more months. After that, well, I had my baby in Chile. That's why I had to do this prolongation because I didn't have time or energy to do all of this document process. But I did prolong my tourist visa for another 3 months. What did I do after that? After that, I applied for Temporaria, which basically means that you are allowed to live there for a year. As I didn't come here as a student or a worker, I just applied for my visa as the person who is married to a Chilean and who is a mother to a Chilean baby. So because I had this personal, how they call it, vínculo con chileno, I was able to apply for Temporaria for 1 year. After that, I didn't still have all the needs to apply for my Definitiva, which allows you to stand permanently in the country. So I had to apply for the second Temporaria. When you have your first Temporaria, you get this number, root, which is basically your ID in the country. You use it everywhere. Even when you go to the supermarket, they can ask you for your root. It's, imagine like a passport number or a local ID number. This is your root. So once you get assigned your root, you have some wonderful things. For example, first of all, you can open a bank account. It's not gonna be a super fancy bank account where you can take a credit card and take a bunch of loans. No, this is just a pretty simple standard basic bank account that allows you to receive money and put money there and have a debit card. So with this route, you get to open this bank account. You get to have a work permit, so you can actually work once you get your route, and you can get insurances, register to courses, schools, all kind of things with your route. Another thing is that when I was applying for Definitiva, when I wanted to apply for my permanent visa, they didn't have this rule that you should be like married to Chilean for 2 years or living in country for X years. So actually when my first Temporaria was finishing, I did not have this like 2-year mark and they did not apply it everywhere yet. So I had to apply for the second Temporaria. Maybe right now your situation might be different. For example, if you got married, 10 years ago with a Chilean and then decided to move to Chile, then you might get your Temporaria and after it finishes, immediately Definitiva. So as I already mentioned, I had to get 2 Temporaria visas, 2 temporary visas for 1 year each before I reached this like 2 years married to a Chilean, and I could apply for Definitiva. Definitiva allows you to stay in the country permanently. You need to pay taxes, obviously, as soon as you get root. So since Temporaria, you need to pay taxes for all your income, you can work. And with Definitiva, you can open already a bank account, which is a little bit more fancy. You can have like your credit card, you can have loans and stuff like that if you have Definitiva. But here's the catch. I applied for the Definitiva, but I didn't have it. Like, I had the piece of paper that I applied for it. So my temporary visa was already expired. I didn't have my permanent visa. I just had this paper. And I had to be in this situation for over a year, waiting for them to make a decision about my Definitiva. Maybe it's okay if you don't need to have like any documents done, or if you don't need to go to the bank and receive money personally, because what it means that the document that they give you for the temporary visa is already expired. You don't have another document, so they cannot actually do anything for you. You cannot open a bank account, you cannot receive money, you can do nothing because your visa is expired and you don't have another one. And this paper that they give you, it doesn't serve. So, for example, I had to receive some money in the bank, and I had to get like a special acceptance from the head of the bank that with this paper, yes, I can actually take out my money. Like, they didn't want to give it to me for like 3 or 4 months, and I had to get that, like, oh yes, you can get your money. Well, thank you. So obviously it's not a comfortable procedure, but what I want to stress here is that also it's long. When people tell you that, like, oh, get your Temporaria and then Definitiva, they don't tell you that actually after applying for your Definitiva, you're gonna have to wait at least a year to get it approved. Then you get it for 5 years. You have your document now, you have your Definitiva that you can reapply to every 5 years. And then you can apply for the Chilean passport, for nationality. That is exactly what I did when I had like all the things that I was living in Chile for X years, that I was married for so long, that I had my Definitiva and Temporaria for as many years as it was inscribed there for my specific case, because again, every single case is different. If you're going here for work, it's going to be different than if you're going here to study or to have a family. Like, for example, right now, I am applying for my visas not based on my work, because I don't work in Chile, right? So I cannot do it. I don't study in Chile, so I cannot do it. But I do have family members who are Chilean, so I'm applying based on this connection of me, a Russian girl, with my Chilean family. And this is like obviously a different case than if you're, for example, a refugee, right? Like, this whole case is completely different, so I'm telling you now about my experience and my updates. After I applied for my nationality, for Chilean passport, I have done it 2 years ago. Just so that you realize that all of these get quick citizenship scams, and if somebody can tell you that, ooh, if you come to Chile and you give birth to a child, you're gonna get your passport in 2 years. Like, no. I mean, I gave birth to a child who is Chilean 6 years ago, and I still don't have my passport. Not because I did something wrong, but because it takes so long. So I applied to my passport almost 2 years ago. In August, it will be 2 years exactly. I didn't have any updates for over a year. So you have like Trámites Extranjería. This is like a portal, the web page where you go and you can get information about everything you're doing with them. And mine was just there like, okay, well, you registered your application. And it was over a year in this status without the number even to application. So imagine it's like you're sending a pack of documents online. You don't have an actual person, like everything is online. You don't go to any physical place. You cannot talk to any person and say like, hey, do I have all the correct documents? Is something missing? Do I need to do this or that? You don't have it. You do everything online. Then they accept your application, they check it, and they come back to you if something is wrong. And then the process repeats. So it's, first of all, it's very crucial to make sure that all your documents are correct when you apply for it. And second of all, it gets me a little pissed, I will be honest with you, because for example, the document that I wasn't in jail like in Russia, right? It expires in 3 months. Every time you get it, it has 3 months of life. It doesn't matter if you went back to your home country, if you didn't, if you never left Chile at all, it doesn't matter. Its life is 3 months. So now that they finally, just a couple of months ago, they finally got me a number of my application, which means that I'm registered in the system now. But now when they're gonna go inside and gonna go see all of these documents, this one will be expired and they will ask for a new one, obviously. And for the new one, I have to go to Santiago, I have to pay more money, and I have to wait, and not very cool. Especially imagine it's me, like I have at least an embassy of my country in this country, right? But imagine, for example, the Belarusian people, they don't have an embassy in Chile. They need to go to Argentina to get it. So yeah, it's a little bit all messed up. But let me tell you one more time about the status of my documents. So living in Chile for 6 years, I still do not have my Chilean passport. I applied to it almost 2 years ago, and it just recently has been registered in the system, my application. And God knows how long I will have to wait till they check it and ask me for some additional information. I don't know. So yes, the process is still going. What I learned from this is that the following: if you have your children before you have this root number, if you get married before you get this root number, it's not automatically going into any documents after you get it. How did I find out about this? I thought it's all gonna be automated, right? Like, I got my root, so it's gonna be shuk in my marriage certificate, shuk in the birth certificates of my children. No, it's not like that. I wanted to open a bank account for my kids so that they can take out some money when they are 18, just saving for the future. And you can do it with their root number. Of course, they have it because they were born in Chile, so they get it automatically. So when I went with the root number of my younger child, all good. With my eldest, you are not registered as the parent. And I'm like, well, but I'm her mom, right? So then I go to the certificate, to the birth certificate, which you can download from online. And I download it, and I see that there is literally just my name. Like, they didn't even put like passport number, nothing, just my name. So in theory, any person who has the same name can claim this child, but no. So I went to them and I asked, hey, so here is the paper, and what should I do about it? And they actually told me that I have to recognize my child as my child while having root if I want it to be registered in her birth certificate. And mind you, if you and your child are not connected, not only you cannot open a bank account for them, because like, okay, I can live without that, right? But you cannot register them to kindergarten, to school. Like, you're not connected even when you go into the doctor, nothing. There is no connection between your number and her number. So I am still, I started this process in September. In September last year, 2025. I studied the process of accepting my child, which means basically putting my number on her birth certificate. And I'm still in this process. Can you imagine? Now it's March, I studied it in September. It's super long. I will go check it again next week. Hopefully there is some progress. But yes, if you are having some kind of new documentation, like children birth certificates, marriage certificates, before you get your root number, this is just, keep it in mind that immediately after you get it, you need to go to all the instances and put your number to all the certificates. Because now I also have to do it with my marriage certificate, so, you know. The summary, I have already made a video about how you can get to Chile and what is Temporaria and Definitiva a little bit more in detail, so check it out please on my channel, or ask me here questions if there is something that is unclear. Just to repeat, you can come here by tourist visa. You can prolong your tourist visa once. If you don't do it, you get a fine. After that, you can apply for temporary visa, which is 1 year, and then based on your life scenario, you can apply for the permanent visa, which is for 5 years, and you need to reapply for it every 5 years. For nationality, God knows how many years you have to wait for it. I'm waiting for almost 2 years, and I still did not get any answer. Only like 1.5 years after I applied, I got my application registered in the system. So yeah, it's a very slow process, very frustrating, but this is something you have to do. And you know, actually, from another news, now I started finally thinking about getting my Chilean driving license because my Russian one expired. So, you know, I need to get a driving license. And as soon, hopefully, as I get it, I don't know when, but in a few months, I will make a video about that as well. So if you have questions about driving license, I'm not yet ready to answer all of them. So please wait for the update. So thank you so much for watching. This was my document status update. And remember that you can write me anytime. And remember, if you're in the process of getting some Chilean visa nationality, stay positive. It's long, but it can be done. Okay, bye.